talking of recent events, I had the opportunity to interview Frank Warren on Sunday. A lot of the stuff you'd expect in terms of defending the Fury and Ngannou fight, which we've talked about previously. But something he did say kind of hit out a little bit at Anthony Joshua for a supposed or a purported lack of ambition, because he's fighting Dillian Whyte for a second time. Whyte, of course, coming off an average performance against Jermaine Franklin, a clear defeat to Tyson Fury, rather than taking a WBC title shot that was offered to him. What do you make of those comments?
I heard it. Was it between himself and Adam Catterall on TalkSport?
We said that, and then they were going back and forth as well.
Listen. Frank Warren is a legend, yeah, and he's. I know George is doing a lot more of the stuff nowadays, but with Frank, look, he's an old school guy, old school, and obviously when he sees, he's gonna back his guy, he's gonna protect his man. Tyson Fury, and I'll say this for the billionth time, and I know him on a personal level, known him many years, he's the best heavyweight in the world. Yeah, the best heavyweight in the world. But Tyson sometimes, when he comes out on social media and he says, you've got to the end of today to sign this contract, you've got to do this, you've got to, shut up, right? And get the fight made behind closed doors between all the people. Or meet up with Anthony Joshua yourself, because they both have each other's numbers. I know this for a fact. Sit down in a room with each other's teams and make the fight. It isn't, believe me, it's not hard. When both parties want to make a fight, the fight happens. Anthony Joshua, for me, has proved he will fight anybody. He's signed to fight Wilder at the end of the year. Do you know what I mean? And in between that, his warm-up fight, yeah, this is what it is. His keep busy fight is against Dillian Whyte. Could have boxed anybody. Anybody will box Anthony Joshua if offered the fight, because it's especially like below the Fury and the Usyk. Everyone will box Anthony Joshua because it's a lottery ticket. He's still that guy, and you saw that with the ticket sales with Dillian Whyte. Look, Tyson Fury is a massive name. His event with Ngannou I'm sure will do very, very well numbers wise. It's just not something I'm personally looking forward to. I don't look at that fight and go, wow, can't wait for that. No, not interested in it. But going back to what I was saying about the Frank Warren comments about, Joshua's not got any ambition, I respectfully disagree with Frank Warren. I think Anthony Joshua has lots of ambition, he's still Joshua could have gone an easy route. He could have boxed some unknown American with a good record, 1 or 2 defeats on the records, loads of them about, and dropped him in 2 rounds and not do anything. But he wants to fight Dillian Whyte for the fans. Anthony Joshua, he might have said some daft things, but Tyson Fury said some daft things. We all have in the past. But he's a people's champion, I think, Anthony Joshua. I really do think. I've got loads of respect for AJ. And look, he's giving the British boxing fans another banger with the Dillian Whyte fight, which I cannot wait to watch. And look, Fury's boxing a professional debutant, and Anthony Joshua's boxing Dillian Whyte. So you can't really say he's not got any ambition. Do you understand what I mean? And I heard Adam Catterall say about that Mahmoud. I think, listen, in the business of boxing, Ngannou's a bigger fight. But what Catterall's basically saying is this: when Tyson Fury and Frank had come out and said, look, there's nobody available. There is people available. Yeah. There isn't people available with the commercial value of a Francis Ngannou or like an Usyk or it's not getting Tyson out of bed. Do you know what I mean? To fight a Mahmoudov or a Martin Bakole but it is things like that are the issue with boxing. And that's not just put onto Tyson Fury. That's like with everybody. Like, mandatories are there for a reason. And I think mandatories should be respected in boxing. I don't agree with the fact that BC have not placed a mandatory, because I do think Tyson Fury should have a WBC mandatory, because it keeps the division hot. It gives these young challengers an opportunity to make some money and become the heavyweight champion of the world, which is the biggest prize in boxing. No, I waffled on there, but I think I made sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, they couldn't make a fight between the number 1 and the number 2, so just make the number 1 the mandatory.
Yeah.
They've allowed this vacuum into which Tyson stepped in and chose the best commercial option. It's hard to blame them.
And that's why I think people get a bit bothered with boxing sometimes, because there's no set stone rules. It's like that. This is when you need to do this. This is when you need to fight him, or you're stripped. Do you understand what I mean, Danny? Like, I just think that it goes back to when, listen, they were playing a lot of interviews of Eddie saying that, oh, Joshua against Ngannou is a great fight. Mate, I tried to make the Ngannou fight for Joe Joyce, mate. Of course, it's a good commercial. I'm not being a hypocrite, but I'm saying as WBC, Anthony Joshua at the time when this fight was being spoken about was not the WBC champion of the world. It's not holding the division up. Yeah. Like, in the meantime, somebody else could be challenging for that prestigious belt. Because, I mean, the green belt's a beautiful belt and everybody wants to fight for it. I just think, when are we going to see Tyson Fury defend the WBC belt now? Next year?
Yeah, well, it's going to be at least a year between.
Yeah, this is what I mean. And it is not me digging. Like, it isn't me digging at all. Because, like I say, I mean, I can't keep stressing it enough. Tyson, for me, is the premier heavyweight in the world. And I just think the premier heavyweight in the world shouldn't be having. Listen, I don't mind. Joe was a 6-round exhibition, and then he was boxing, I don't know, in September against a mandatory challenger. No problem. But
this is the thing. People have compared it to like Muhammad Ali fighting Antonio Inoki in place like, but that was one of 5 fights he had that year. The others all being proper boxing matches.
This is what I'm saying, Danny. That's all I'm saying. So I don't say look at them and go, oh, it's ridiculous. Because look, Frank Warren's a promoter. Frank Warren's an old school boxing promoter, and he knows how to make big events. He's done it for decades. So you can't fault them as a team to think, oh, it's a cash grab. It is. Nobody's got a problem with a cash grab. And Ngannou, from the background he's had, I hope he's making an absolute fortune, and he's got generational wealth afterwards. But circling back to what I was saying, I don't believe it's fair to hold up the division when you've got young challengers that haven't made anywhere near as much money as a Tyson Fury and a Anthony Joshua, and I'll put Deontay Wilder in that bracket. Let someone else fight for the belt, or you've got to keep the division hot. You can't just hold the division up and say, okay, we'll call a mandatory to challenger next year, because even if Tyson Fury fights the undisputed next year, which I really hope he does, I really, really hope he fights an undisputed fight next year, because it'll be a sad shame if Tyson retires and he's never been in a unification fight or an undisputed fight. Like, I just think it would be a shame for him, because somebody that's regarded as, people can say what they like about Tyson, but I think the wider audience regard Tyson as the #1 heavyweight in the world. I just think that he should be facing mandatories. He should be fighting a Magmudov, whatever his name is, and Bakolis and all that. Like, yeah, put Bakoli in those things, or just these up and coming challenges. I mean, look, Joe Joyce, I know he got beat in his last fight, but it's mental. He's not had a world title shot. It's crazy, isn't it, though? It is crazy. They could have made that. Listen, I'm waffling on, but I know what I mean. And obviously, if I've come out talking bollocks, it sounds like I'm talking bollocks. I kind of know what I mean with what I say.